All of his life, Egan was left directionless. Through high school, he never had any idea on what he wanted to do. There were so many options, and yet none of them stuck out to him. He decided to take a gap year before figuring out a degree to go for, or if he would even go for one. His parents had left him on his own, forcing him out of the house. But luckily his grandfather handed down land with an old house to Egan, on one condition. He would have to restore the house and tidy up the land before his grandfather had passed. Egan had no choice but to take the offer, as he had nowhere else to go. Egan took his beater car through the long driveway to the house, wondering the whole time if he was even in the right place. The forest surrounding him was thick and filled with wildlife. Birds chirped, frogs croaked, and the close shrubbery bustled as the suspension of the car creaked from all of the bumps. Egan finally saw the house in the distance, an old, beaten wooden house in the middle of a clearing in the dense forest. There was vibrant long grass around the entire house, grass that would need to be cut down, eventually. Egan got out of his car and approached the front door. The porch and the stairs leading up were both missing planks and had nails sticking out. Before Egan could open the door, a clucking noise made its way into his ears. A chicken peeked around the corner, staring curiously at Egan. "What are you doing here, little buddy?" Egan questioned the chicken, crouching down and approaching it. The chicken led him off the porch to the back side of the house, where more were waiting. "Oh wow," Egan exclaimed. "There's so many of you guys." Egan counted 15 chickens from what he could see. The backyard had small patches of missing grass where the chickens scratched and foraged. Yet another chore on Egan's list. He couldn't be too unhappy, though, seeing as he at least had some company. Egan eventually went back to the front door and made his way in, observing the dusty, abandoned house. There were traces of rodents eating at the walls. There were spider webs hung like Christmas lights all around the room. As Egan ventured further into the house, he tested the water and the power in each room. Surprisingly, the power worked, but some of the water pipes were clearly leaking. Egan had visited the final room, the bedroom. His bedroom. He took a deep breath and sat on the bed. Along with the breath, he took everything in, the reality of his situation, all the work that had to be done, how his parents had kicked him out with seemingly no remorse, how his grandfather expected him to fix the house when he had nothing to his name. All of these thoughts were disrupted by something flying by the bedroom window. In the sky fought two birds, a smaller bird, half the size of the chickens, and a hawk. The hawk was clearly in control. The smaller bird flew up as high as it could and made one last attempt to get away, and dive-bombed the hawk, stunning them both. Both flew off in different directions. One flew for its life, and the other for its pride. Egan looked down at his hands and wondered what bird he was. Unsatisfied with his conclusion, he continued to wonder, what is my dive bomb? For if he wishes to fly away with his life, he must know how. Egan fell asleep soon after, motivated to change. Egan woke up early in the morning to the sun shining through the same window that had motivated him just the other day. Egan walked downstairs and boiled 5 brown eggs, compliments of the chickens that took shelter in his yard. He went to greet them and noticed the chickens had left a mess of feathers on his porch. So he took the only broom he could find, an old broom with half of its bristles hanging on, and cleared the feathers while his eggs boiled. When he finished cleaning the porch, he set his eyes on the forest. The trees had beautiful brown bark that contrasted with the vivid green leaves. It was quiet. Only the tips of the treetops swayed from the wind, leaving the sound out of Egan's own oasis. And that's what Egan thought. He had his own oasis. Egan could live here forever. He could do this forever. He didn't want a boring office job where instead of nature, all he would hear is the hum of a copy machine. Egan much preferred the soft notes of nature.